Information security policies. Security policies are the foundation of security infrastructure. They are the procedural controls. The management says this is what the rules are, and we have to play by those rules. And everything should be enforcing those policies, and that's what they mean by it's kind of a foundation of security infrastructure, right? It's kind of the basic premise for where all the rules come from, or it should be. So information security policies define the basic security requirements and rules to be implemented in order to protect and secure organizations' information systems. Okay? So the goals of the security policies, we want to maintain an outline for the management and administration of network security. We want to protect an organization's computing resources. We want to eliminate legal liabilities arising from employees or third parties. We want to prevent waste of a company's computing resources, and we want to prevent unauthorized modification of the data. We want to reduce risks caused by illegal use of system resources. We want to differentiate the user's access rights, so make sure that not everybody has the same rights. We want to be able to control those. And then protect confidential proprietary information from theft, misuse, and unauthorized disclosure. So we have several types of security policies. We have a promiscuous policy, a permissive policy, a prudent policy, and a paranoid policy. I guarantee you will see a test question off of this slide on the test. No restrictions. Which policy is that? A promiscuous one. So a promiscuous policy has no restrictions on usage of system resources. You can use it for whatever you want. And then a permissive policy begins wide open and only known or dangerous services, attacks, or behaviors are blocked. So as you identify things like, hey, we're going to start off with this list of blocking, but for the most part, we're going to let people do what they want to do. And as they abuse it, as we identify things, we'll go ahead and start locking it down. So it should be updated regularly to be effective. So it's kind of a constant feedback loop. Hey, you know, these people keep going to this porn site and we keep getting malware from this porn site. So let's go ahead and start blocking the porn sites, right? That's kind of how a permissive policy works. A prudent policy, it provides maximum security while allowing known but necessary dangers. So you kind of manage your risk. We know we have some risk, and here's the list. And that's the only thing that we allowed in are these specific risks. We know about them and we're managing them. It blocks all services and only safe, necessary services are enabled individually. Everything else is logged. So it's the opposite of the promiscuous policy. The promiscuous policy allows everything, right? Actually, I guess it's the opposite of our permissive policy. So the permissive policy starts wide open and then they close it as they need to. The prudent policy starts out completely closed and then they only open what they have to open. So there's the permissive and the prudent. Those are opposites of each other. And then there's the promiscuous and the paranoid. The paranoid forbids everything. No internet connection or severely limited internet usage. So the paranoid is kind of the opposite of the promiscuous. So there's 4 policies there: promiscuous, permissive, prudent, and paranoid. You need to know these and you need to understand the differences between them. So let's get into some examples of security policies. We have an access control policy. It defines the resources being protected and the rules that control access to them. We have the remote access policy. So that's for people that are accessing our systems and computing resources remotely. Here's the rules that apply to them. Firewall management policy. It defines access, management, and monitoring of firewalls in the organization. The network connection policy. It defines who can install new resources on the network, approve the installations of new devices, document network changes, etc., etc. So that's an important one, right? Hey, I want to put this new security policy in. This new security appliance in. Whom do I talk to about that? So you can go reference that information likely right out of the policy, right? Or some addendum to it. Passwords policy, it provides guidelines for using strong password protection on organizations' resources, or gives you at least what the definition is. You need to know what it is, right? You need to know what it is for vendors and stuff like that. You can't just go and arbitrarily change a password policy. That would impact thousands of systems potentially in any decent sized organization. So user account policy, it defines the account creation process and authority, rights, and responsibilities of user accounts. So user account policy. Information protection policy. It defines the sensitive levels of information, whom may have access, how is it stored and transmitted, and how should it be deleted from storage media. So the full data life cycle is addressed here, right? Information protection policy, from birth to destruction. And special access policy. This policy defines the terms and conditions of granting special access to system resources. So we have a short-term project. We're going to do something out of the norm. We're going to use a special access policy. Email security policy is created to govern the proper usage of corporate email. So from soup to nuts about the email. And an acceptable use policy, an AUP, acceptable use policy, AUP is how you'll see it abbreviated all the time. You might even see that on the test, so keep that in mind that this could be a test question. The AUP says what? And your answer would be, it defines the acceptable use of system resources. AUP is acceptable use policy.